Hello everyone. Hi. Take these off because they're kind of creating a glare. Welcome. Alright, so I have something I want to talk to you about today that has been on my mind for a while. First of all, I'll just tell you I've heard a lot lately about like the word hustling, and some people are like, oh, it's good, you need to hustle. That's what you need to create a successful business. It's good for you. And other people I've been seeing a lot of like saying that it's actually kind of bad to hustle too much, and that can be a bad thing. So is it good? Is it bad? What is it? Is it absolutely necessary? So we're going to cover that. And I'm sorry, I do not have a regular scoping schedule. That's my dream one day, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm 38 weeks pregnant with my second child, so yeah, schedules don't really happen when you have a newborn. So it'll just be whenever I get around to it. I'm hoping actually tomorrow to scope about what you should do if you want to start a blog, or you're starting a blog and you have a lot of topics that you want to talk about. Should you put those on one blog? Should you separate those? So that's what I'll talk about sometime tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But just to introduce myself, I don't know if you all know who I am. My name is Laura. I am the creator and author of the iHeart Planners blog. I started it 3.5 years ago, and now I'm able to work part-time hours from home and earn a full-time income blogging and helping people get organized and helping show them how to blog. And it is like totally my dream job, and I love sharing everything I know. I'm kind of like an open book, so this is going to be a really honest, like telling you how it is kind of scope. Oh yeah, showering rarely happens. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, sometimes I don't scope because the makeup part doesn't happen. I have a 1-year-old, and she likes to try to put on the makeup, which is not the best thing for a 1-year-old. I need to get her some like little plastic play makeup or something so that she can kind of like do it herself, but she's in the stage where she wants to do everything that I do. But anyway, and certainly with a newborn, we'll see what happens. But so that's who I am, and if you want to learn more about me, go to iHeartPlanners.com. If you go to iHeartPlanners.com/entrepreneur, you can sign up and learn the top 5 things that I learned my first couple years in business. So let's dive into this thing about hustling. Okay, so what does that even mean, first of all? So to me, what the word means is just working really hard to achieve a goal or a dream. And on the surface, I can't really say anything bad about that. I think hard work is a really good thing. I think we were created to work hard and make progress and work toward goals. I mean, if you don't, life is kind of boring and, less of a purpose. So I think hard work is fantastic. And really, I will also say that there are very few successful entrepreneurs I know of that didn't have to work pretty hard. So while it may not be necessary to work 80 hours a week, and actually I would not recommend that, and I've never done that, but some pretty hard work is kind of necessary, and that, I will tell you, probably that alone is a thing that will help you stand out from the crowd, because it takes a lot of work, and a lot of people aren't willing to put that hard work in. I mean, hard work is, let's face it, hard. And so if you're just willing to show up and be really consistent and work hard, that will set you apart and you'll see the results. So I do think some measure of hard work is necessary. But let's talk about the flip side, because I've been seeing this like in blog posts, on other people's scopes. I've just been seeing this idea, a lot of people being concerned that hustling can be bad. So how is that a bad thing? Sorry, I have to glance at my notes. I have to write notes, otherwise I ramble on way too much. So we can get so caught up in working on our business, which is a good thing, a good goal, that we neglect other important things, like maybe our family, our health, even our friends, or even hobbies that are good for us, like at least here today, it's like a beautiful, gorgeous day. So I want to go for a walk, and it's easy for me to be like, oh, I'm working. I don't want to go even, do that. So yeah, we can totally get so caught up in it that it becomes something that's not good for us. And I'll tell you, when it comes to creating an online business, and probably most important goal, there's always something else to do. Another post you could write, another social media channel to join and be active on, another person to connect with, another amazing product that you can't wait to get into people's hands. I mean, these are all good things, but it can leave you feeling just completely overwhelmed and like you can never get it all done, and no matter what you do, you're still kind of failing because you didn't get it all done. And in that way, I don't think that hustle is a good thing. If you are neglecting things that are otherwise should be priorities and important to you, and if you are doing so much that you always feel overwhelmed and like you're not getting enough done, and really what's the point of all this hard work if we don't have time to enjoy it? So where does that leave us? Is it good? Is it bad? All right, so this is one of those questions that does not have a black and white answer, and it's going to look different for everybody in different seasons, for sure. Like, obviously, I'm going to, work harder, hustle more before I have my baby. Then when he comes, I'll be a little busy. Just life is different for everyone. You might be fitting in your, dream job on the side where you have another full-time job, so that's going to greatly affect how much time you have to devote and how much is reasonable. So it's going to look different for everybody. It doesn't have a black and white answer, unfortunately, and I love black and white answers, but it just doesn't. So I'm just going to share my honest thoughts with you. And see what you think. Feel free to pop in the comments if you have any questions. If you want to give hearts, you just tap the screen and you can give hearts. And if you want to share it out with your friends, feel free to swipe, I think it's to the side on an iPhone and down on Android, and share away. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is I think the word hustle has gotten a little bit of an overly bad rap because hard work is great. It's good for us. It feels good. We should work hard. It's just when we work too much that it becomes a bad thing. So for me, what I've tried to do, and I'm not always perfect at this, is kind of set aside certain times to work, and I focus on that. I either work while my child is sleeping or has childcare. And when I try as best I can during those times, like I am working, and I am working hard. And that is at least one of the best things for me. So hard work is good. And even if it's not a lot of time that you can devote, if you are, because I know a lot of you are probably growing your business on the side where you have other full-time responsibilities. Maybe you don't have any childcare for your kids and you're home with them all day, or you have another full-time job. It's not about having to spend a bajillion hours on your business. It's about working really hard on your business when you do have that time. And it's also about, I think hustle also involves sometimes we do things that aren't our favorite. So, if you're a blogger, maybe what you love to do is write, and you wish you could sit down and do nothing but ever write blog posts, But there's other things you have to do, like maybe, and you do have to be on social media a little bit to get the word out there, or maybe you need to network with some other people, and those things aren't as fun, or you have to deal with some tech issue on your blog, so there's going to be parts of what we do where we have to tackle the things. Maybe it's the accounting. Who likes the accounting part of business, but it's very important. So when we do work, let's not shy away from the things that we don't love just because we don't love them. And, okay, if we are in the place where we feel like we are working too much, too hard, because I think that's so easy to do. We get a goal, a dream, we want to build a successful business, and we get excited about it, and we see some progress, and it's really easy to go overboard and work way too many hours. It's really easy to... I need to work, so I'm just going to order pizza tonight, just once, and then tomorrow night, well, we're going to go to Chick-fil-A, kind of neglect things, or I'm just going to work out this time. Those things are really easy. So if we're in that stage, we need to take a step back and say, what are we doing? Are our priorities out of line? Yeah, I totally do that as well. And if we think they are, why? Sometimes I think, I thought this to myself because I've definitely had a week or two here or there where I felt like, oh my goodness, like I was not keeping things very balanced this week, and I look back and I think, maybe I want to blame it on the business. Like, okay, is this business not working for me? Is it not what I should be doing because it's easy for me to work too much on it? But then I realized if I wasn't working on the business, I'd be doing something. And maybe it's about being too focused on a goal no matter what it is. So like, for example, sometimes I have gone on, health kicks. And I think being healthy is wonderful. Exercise, eating healthy, that is great as a fantastic goal. But I mean, I've gone overboard. And, when I did maybe a certain diet that was really restrictive, I mean, instead of like, spending my time on social media and thinking about blog posts, I was like, on all these forums for all these other people that were on the diet and researching recipes and, not going to social events because they might have food there that wasn't on the diet, and like I could go crazy, like too far with that. So sometimes it's about making sure that we have a balance, but it's not necessarily blaming it on the fact that we have or trying to grow a business. So that's something that helps me when and I'll be honest, I think every business owner every now and again gets in their head like, what if I just quit? What if I walked away from it all? Like, I think every business owner gets that feeling, and it's okay. Like, get that feeling and don't ignore it. Think about it, think through it, and if that's what you need to do, that's great. I mean, that's not failing if your business isn't where you need to be right now, but work through it. And sometimes, those feelings are going to be common. I mean, every diet I've ever been on that's actually been good for me, I've multiple times wanted to quit and just eat, ice cream. So, but it doesn't mean I should have. So, work through those things. I would also say about hustle, it's okay to fail. And when you're working really hard, the failure is going to be a little harder to take because you worked hard. You thought this was going to work, and you put it out there, and it just flopped. And I mean, that happens to every business owner. The key is to pick up, get back up, get going, try another idea. I've had that happen so many times. Like a course I created a couple years ago, I was like, this is what people need. I put my heart into it, and it really didn't sell that much. I don't know. It wasn't the thing people wanted. I mean, recently I came up with this new, this new opt-in freebie that was like, I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of work into advertising it, and it's not really having the results that I thought it would. So that's life, and the harder you work on it, the more discouraging it can be. So the key is to realize, like, we all fail, and sometimes we dwell on our failures too much. So I could spend all my time thinking about the one thing that didn't work quite as well as I could, and there were a lot of, it's not a total failure by any means. It's not making actual financial profit, but I feel like the information I put out there, a lot of people are saying it's helping them, so that's fantastic. I'm excited about that. There's some other things that are good about it, so think about the good things. Also, it's okay to keep your business small. Sometimes we look around and we see everyone else trying to grow their business and take it to the next level, and somebody has a blog post about how last year they were, had 100 subscribers and they were making $1,000 a month, and this year they have 100,000 subscribers and they're making like $100,000 of sales a month or something crazy like that. And we think, well, I guess got to do that. But not everybody needs to make whatever, have 100,000 followers and make $100,000 a month. If you are happy spending a few hours a week, having a few followers, and making a few $100s a month, that's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that too. Make sure if you're hustling, you know what you're hustling for and you know what you want. And if you're happy at the level that you're at, then be happy there and don't feel like you need to reach for the next level just because somebody else does. Or for me, sometimes I feel like, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Like, don't you get here, you're supposed to go to the next level, but maybe the level you're at is wonderful. And that's fine, especially because, you probably have other priorities in your life. And so I think that's super important to realize, because I think it's so easy to get caught up in hustling to the next level for no particular reason. And when we do meet our goals, sometimes we're so fast to set a new goal that we don't even take the time to celebrate it. I know this is one of my big, things that I have not taken the time to celebrate the things that I've done well. When I've reached an amazing goal or exceeded a goal, I'm just like, okay, oh, that was great. What else can we do now? Instead of saying, like, that was amazing, let's enjoy that. Also, for me, this is me personally, this is what works really well for me. It may not be what works well for everybody, but I kind of go in seasons of serious hustle in the business and then way more restful in the business and working on other things. And I think a lot of bloggers do that. I know some who kind of almost take the summers off, like their kids are all out of school. My kids aren't school age yet, but their kids are out of school, they go on vacation, they spend more time with their kids, they kind of put their blog in maintenance mode where they're working very few hours a week, they get guest posters. And so you're kind of going in those seasons, and those I think work really well because for me, I'm much more productive and efficient and motivated and excited if I can spend a month or two where I'm really focused on a work project. And so most of my free time goes to that. I'll talk about that in a second, about dropping down and posting. So most of my time during those seasons goes to that. And then I try to have a season where I'm only working, less hours a week, and in my free time, which would be like when my daughter's napping, or after she goes to bed, or if my husband takes her to the store, I'm going to work on something else. I'm going to do something else that isn't work related. So we kind of go in seasons. So I just had a really busy season where I was getting List Building Academy launched and off the ground and doing tons of webinars and tons of things. And now we're in the season of rest where I can't really schedule anything because the baby could come at any moment. So that kind of forces you to slow down. But also, I'm just, we're actually moving in 5 weeks, pretty far away. So I'm working on packing and I'm trying, it's great weather now, so I'm trying to go for more walks, spend more one-on-one time with my daughter because obviously when her brother comes, there won't be as much time for that. And so I'm just doing things like that and kind of not trying not to feel pressure to get work things done. One other thing about this hustle is comparison can cause us to hustle in not so great ways. So when you look at someone else, maybe they started their blog the same time as you and you're like, oh my goodness, they have a bajillion more followers and they're making a ton of money. And I started at the same time. What am I doing wrong? I need to be there. You don't need to be there. There's all sorts of reasons why someone else's situation may be different. And so try not to look around and compare yourself and start hustling just because you want to be like somebody else. And then this is the last thing, and then I'll answer. I know we had a question, but if anybody else has questions, feel free to pop them in. So if you are hustling because you're looking for fulfillment in your work, I promise you will never find it. It will never be enough. I know it's tempting to think in the beginning, like I know when I first started blogging and I had like 3 readers, my best friend, my mom, and my husband, and I thought, wow, I mean, if I could just get like 100 subscribers, like, wow, I'd have it made. And then if I could get 1,000, I would have it made. And then if I could make even like a couple $100s a month, oh my goodness, like I'd be on top of the world, and you do that. And I did those things. And then I was like, okay, well, that's not really that big of a deal. I did that already. So now, if I make a reasonable part-time income, like I want to make actually like minimum wage, because when we start our blogs, we don't make anything, so we're making nowhere near minimum wage. That'd be pretty cool, and then, well, let's make good money, and let's do this. And no matter where you are, there's always another level, and there's always someone doing something more. I mean, I heard somebody else say this, which was eye-opening to me, that, so you're working hard, you do good things, and you're like, okay, if I could get this many subscribers, if I could make 6 figures, that seems to be a big one that everybody wants, then, I'd have it made. But they get there, and I heard this blogger, she does 7 figures a year, which is like mind-boggling, and she's like, now I feel like I need to get to multiple 7 figures. And I mean, you're just sitting there thinking, like, what else could you possibly think you need? So the point is that if you're hustling because you think that this next level is going to bring you what you really need, or what you really want, or you're going to have it made. You're not. I mean, you're not going to have it made in terms of feeling like you don't want to improve, and you're not going to have it made from the perspective of, and I think this is one thing I think people don't necessarily realize, that you're not going to be able to coast and feel like you've got a steady income coming in, because although often online it's called passive income, and I have a whole nother blog post kind of drafted about this topic, it's not that passive, and it's not, the internet is constantly changing. More and more people are coming out there, so there's never a time where you can just be like, okay, you know, I've reached this level, I can just like coast, not worry about it, and the money will keep rolling in. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to set yourself up for more success and for seasons of rest, and still have income, but you're never going to just, you know, get wherever there is. So those are just some thoughts I had in general about hustle. Again, not a black and white answer. Okay, so someone asked about slowing down your posting schedule for the summer. I think it was this past Monday. If you go to iHeartPlanners.com, it's probably still on the front page. I wrote a whole blog post about how frequently you should post on your blog. And yes, absolutely slow down. So I started from day one of my blog. This isn't as popular of a way to do it, but this is what I did, and it worked extremely well. I posted once per week, once a week. That's it. And I grew my blog plenty fast, plenty well, made plenty of money by posting once per week. And the reason I think that's such a good idea is consistency is number one. I mean, I don't care if you want to post every other week. And I am actually on a couple of newsletters of people who are really successful, and they do every other week or once a month. But whatever it is you do, be consistent, show up every time, make that commitment, and follow through. And that was like my number one commitment I made when I started. Like, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, whether I feel like writing, whether 50 other things are going on in my life or not, I am going to show up once per week. I'm going to write the best post that I can and send it out to my newsletter. And that commitment really has helped me, you know, kind of navigate through all the ups and downs of blogging. And I think by doing that, you'll be able to have a better quality post, you'll be less burnt out, and you'll have more time to do other things. And I think there's a lot of other things about blogging that are important, like networking, interacting with your readers. You need to do some sort of things to get readers. I don't recommend you be on every social media channel, but you know, one or two. You need to make sure you're growing your email list. So when you do put that post out, you want those people to get on your email list. So you need some time to set that up if you haven't already. That's going to be worth a ton more than putting out 3 or 4 posts a week. You want to make sure that on that post you have amazing Pinterest graphics. That's going to bring you more traffic. You know, so you're going to get more bang for your buck, I think, if you post less. So that's just my thoughts on posting. And you can try to get guest posters as well. That's some of what I'm doing while I'm on maternity leave soon. I'm still writing some of my own posts and kind of sprinkling those in with guest posts, so that and those guest posts for me, that's my main post for the week. So I'm not feeling like I need to write something too. Like, that's the post for that week. And I feel like that's beneficial for everyone, because I'm hand inviting the people that I know their blogs. I know my readers will love them. I know they write great quality content, and I want to feature that to my readers, and I want to give them, feature them as much as I can when they post for me, because they're doing me a huge favor by providing this great content. So that's kind of how I'm working it. So anyway, thanks for listening. Like I said, I'm Laura from iHeart Planners. If you don't know who I am, or if you haven't signed up to learn the top 5 things that I learned my first couple years in business, go to iHeartPlanners.com/entrepreneur, and you'll be able to sign up. I'm so glad you guys were here. And if you have any thoughts on this, you know, always, I love to hear from you. Email. I also started, you might be interested in this, I should have a more prominent link on my blog, but I have, if you haven't started your blog yet, or even if you have and you want to kind of tweak it, I just released a new, completely free 7-day video course on how to start your blog in just 15 minutes a day. So you can spend 15 minutes a day, even if you don't know anything about technology, you haven't started your blog at all. If you spend 15 minutes a day, this time next week, your blog will be ready to share with the world. So go ahead, if you go to /entrepreneur, the first email you get, I think, has a link to where you could also sign up for the how to start your blog course. So hopefully I will be back tomorrow talking about what to do if you have a ton of stuff that you actually want to blog about.